Hey socialites, welcome back. And if you're new here, I'm Ariell. I do mainly beauty videos, fragrance, and lifestyle. So if those are the type of videos you enjoy, I would love for you to hit the subscribe button and come join the family. So recently I did a video wearing a gray cool tone, sort of smoky eye, and I wanted to recreate it for you guys. A couple of you guys said that you wanted a tutorial on it. So we're creating this look, but I also wanted it to be pretty much drugstore. So everything I'm using today, with the exception of the eyeshadow palette, is going to be affordable drugstore products. We're also going to be testing out these new NYX priming, like complexion products. They have a new gripping primer and a new setting spray. So if you want to see how I got this look, then keep watching. Okay y'all, so we've started off with moisturizer, the Clinique Moisture Surge, which has been my go-to for a little while. For primer, we're going to try a new product, and this is the NYX the Face Glue Gripping Primer. So it looks like, you know, school glue or Elmer's glue, which I think is very unique. It's supposed to grip on, and it's supposed to be hydrating, provide up to 24 hours of hydration. So that's different. They do recommend that you use a dime size amount. This is what it looks like. Let's blend it out. They said that it's non-sticky too, which is interesting because it's a gripping primer. But when I blend it out, it's pretty much completely clear. There's not really much stick to it at all, like very, very little. I'm just gonna use what's on my hand. Once it's on the face, it does feel slightly putty-like though. So I'm gonna take a little bit more. Yeah, you can tell this is something that makeup is gonna just stick straight to. It is non-comedogenic. It's made with maple syrup. So I thought that was interesting too. And the maple syrup is what they say gives it sort of that gripping effect, but there's no scent to it, not really. So I'm gonna let this sit about 2 minutes before I move on. And for foundation, I'm gonna use the About Face foundation, which is the foundation that I used when I did this look. And really for like the last 2 or 3 times I did my makeup, this is what I use. It's not on the makeup tray this month, but I've just been gravitating towards this one. And for concealer today, I'm gonna be using the Black Radiance concealer, which is actually on October's makeup tray, which I love. This one's really good. So the About Face foundation does come with a doe foot applicator if you're not familiar with it. I'm in the color B1 Neutral. I like to start off with about 2 swipes on both sides because this stuff does have quite a bit of coverage. To blend the foundation, I'm going to use Sephora Collection number 64 foundation brush. It's a duo fiber brush, so it's good if you want to pack coverage, but then it's also good if you want to sort of blend out as well because it has that sort of lightness of the light fibers that's on the end. I'm going to put just a little bit on the forehead, not too much. Ooh, and I got this makeup on my skirt, dang. And the skirt is this color, Lord. I could go in with a little bit more for the coverage that I need on the sides, but I'm not. We'll wait to the end and see how much our powder covers up first. But you can build the coverage up to full coverage with this for sure. So the Black Radiance concealer, I'll put I want to say the shade of this is fair or light, but I'll put it in the description box because this is one of those products that doesn't have the shade on the packaging. The shade was on the wrapper. Have you guys seen that Silo is coming back? It's on Apple TV. If you haven't seen that series, y'all, it is so good. But it's coming back finally on November the 15th. So add that to y'all calendars. We have something to look forward to. And I don't know if y'all watch this because this show is like 2.5 years old, but it's also on Apple TV and the name of it is Severance. And I've been waiting on season 2 to come back on Severance since 2.5 years ago. And I just thought they were just going to scrap the show altogether. For the blending sponge, I'm going to use the e.l.f. sponge. I got these a while ago and never used it. Now it is damp. It feels a lot firmer than what I'm used to from a blending sponge. So this should be interesting. Told you guys about this. When I used to vlog a lot on my channel, I used to tell y'all about that show. So imagine if you were at work and when you got on the elevator at work, your memory just clicked off and you had no recollection of anything about your personal or home life. You don't know what your real name is. You don't know if you have a family, where you live, anything. All you know is what goes on at work when you get there. And then when you get back on the elevator to go back home, something clicks off and your memory comes back of like your real life outside of work. First season did end with a cliffhanger. So if you have Apple TV, maybe check out Silo season 1. And season 2 is finally coming back, but it's not coming back till January. So you have time to catch up on season 1. Love this concealer. I feel like this sponge takes a lot of the product away. Like I can see a ton of the product on the sponge. It's just a lot firmer than what I like, I think. So I don't know about the sponge. I don't have to, but I'm gonna put a little bit more concealer on, just a little bit. The Milani bronzer, y'all, I love this. I've been using this all month. It's on my October makeup tray. It's in the shade Spicy Season. Did y'all see that e.l.f. just launched liquid bronzer or liquid contours, and they come deep. It comes from not super light, but light for a contour, and it goes all the way to the deepest, darkest shade. I think it's only on e.l.f.'s website right now, but eventually it's going to probably come to Ulta and Target and everything else. But it just launched like a couple of days ago, I want to say. So I ordered 3 shades. When they come in, I'll swatch them for you guys so y'all can see if you need a really deep shade or if you preferred a deep shade, they have them. And then I think they added a couple of more shades of the liquid blushes as well, which I'm really very much a fan of. Puffs that I usually use. Okay, so we're gonna try something really different. I don't know if this is gonna work with the look, but we're gonna try it out. This is the About Face Pigmented Fluid Blush, right? But it's a purple shade. Look at the applicator. This little bitty applicator, which I don't like. It's hard and it's really tiny for a blush. But does it not remind you of the Huda Beauty one? This one's the About Face and this one's the Huda Beauty. How similar, right? And the applicator is this little hard applicator as well. But because we're going to do this cool tone eye look, I'm going to do this purple. Let me show you guys the shade of it. Let's use our liquid blush brush from e.l.f. This is one of my favorite brushes, really for foundation, but I'll go into what I put on my hand. Start off with a little because I don't know what this one's going to be giving. It looks a little radiant on the hand. It's not bad. It gives a little purple. It's radiant, but it also looks a little pink on my skin as well. So I could get away with it, I think. So far, pretty much everything I've tried from About Face I really like. Such a solid brand. It's on the sheer side. So let's set. I'm gonna use, this is so far my favorite drugstore setting powder. It's the CoverGirl Clean Invisible Powder. It's in the shade Translucent Medium is the shade, and it does come in several shades. I think I have the light one as well, but this one's my favorite shade. So see how that looks. For some reason, this looks a little dry under eye, and it's never done that. So I don't know if it's the combination of the Black Radiance concealer and the powder. So I'm moving on to the star of the show, which is going to be this sort of cool tone gray, sort of smoky eye. This is the e.l.f. brow gel, by the way. So I want to try out this new brow pencil. This is a brand that I've never tried before. It's called Dominique Cosmetics. So this is the Dominique brow frame, and it looks really unique. Like, look how, but then when you twist it out, it's really sharp. Look how it's shaped. It's in the shade Taupe, which I thought that wasn't gonna work for me, but when I swatch it, it sort of gives a cool toned dark brown. But I get a little taupiness in there too, so let's see how it looks. The shade is actually nice. It blends with my hair color. Real Techniques 308 brush. I'm gonna lightly set with that same CoverGirl powder, just like barely. This is gonna make it a lot easier for those shadows to blend on the eye. Now, I realized that I don't have a drugstore eyeshadow palette, like a drugstore cool tone eyeshadow palette. I'll be on the lookout for one of those, but I'm just gonna use the eyeshadow palette that I used originally to create the look, which is the Skin by Kim palette. It has these cool tones here, but whatever palette you have with these sort of cool tones or grays, just use that. So for the upper crease, like near the brow, I'm gonna use this little MAC palette I created. This shade is called What Clout, and just sort of pack it on the brush. When I do eyeshadows, I like to work like from the top down usually, and this just helps it to be like a seamless, flawless blend when you do this first. So I'm gonna go in with this lightest gray shade. I'm gonna work from these three shades. I'm gonna do the lightest one first, and then blend that like right up under What Clout, just to sort of introduce gray in, so it won't just be like a harsh dark color to start with. And you can barely see it, but that first shade that I used from MAC, it's sort of peeking through, and it's helping it to blend a little better. You don't have to do that. That's just me being extra. So now the medium gray, which is quite dark, and I'm gonna start working that in the outer third area of the eye, sort of in this like V formation, like boop, 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 boop. For the lid color, I'm going to use a flat shader brush, and this one is from the Makeup by Ariel set. This is the A29. The tip of it is a little fluffy, but it's flat for the most part. I'm going to take the lightest gray shade and pack that on the lid. And I'm going to go a little bit above my crease because I have like hooded eyes a little bit. And if I just put it on my crease, it would just be such a small amount of color, you would barely be able to see it. So I like to sort of go up about midways. And it just gives it the illusion that I have like a bigger eye space right there. And then I can actually use the tip of the brush to sort of fade that line because I don't necessarily want to cut crease. So just sort of fade it. And I'm just working those two shades in together. That way it looks like dark and then medium and then light, and not just like a darker shade and a lighter shade. But also I'm gonna go, is this black? This is like a grayish black. It's not like the blackest, but it's like a grayish black. And I'm gonna use a flat, like a small, like a really small shader brush with that darker color, like the darkest color, and put it just like right on the tip. And I'm gonna blend this sort of close to the lash line. This is so creamy, very creamy shadow. And lightly flick it up a little bit because we wanted to sort of line the outer third of the eye, but sort of go into the shadow look a little bit too. And this is going to give us a little bit more of a gradient, like a little bit more depth to the eye look. We don't want too much of it, just a little. And this little bit that we have will work with that and sort of fade it in. Back into the fluffy brush, not adding any more product. And I'm just gonna sort of blend the edges. Back into what? Clout. And just fade here. Add some mascara. This one's from Formless Beauty. Now this is like another cool tone shade. This is from e.l.f. the No Budge Matte Shadow Stick in the shade Thrift Shop. And it's like a cool tone, sort of khaki. Going into the medium gray, I'm gonna smudge this on my bottom lash line. Going in with a clean shader brush. This one's from MAC. It's the 239 brush. I'm gonna take this brown. It's like a medium cool tone brown, and I'm gonna smudge the gray. And see hella thick at the bottom. I want the lashes a little thicker at the bottom. When I used to work at MAC, there was a purple blush there that was a lot deeper than this one. That was so beautiful on deep dark skin tones, like my skin tone, and darker all the way like to the deepest shade. That purple was so pretty, and I wish I could remember the name of it. I don't think they have that purple anymore. So for under eye finishing powder, I'm gonna do the number 7 powder. I don't know where else you can get this other than Walgreens. This one is in the shade Light with my Real Techniques 402 brush. Primer seems to be making the foundation look a little bit more glowy than what I'm used to, which I'm not mad at as long as it's long lasting. So let's use the Sephora Micro Smooth Powder. Mahogany is my skin tone. Big fluffy brush. This is from Amazon. So I'm gonna try a new lip liner. This is from Morphe in the shade Bite Me. I want to do a fairly light colored lipstick, so I'm going to do number 21 from Sephora collection. It's one of their matte lipsticks. This is what it looks like. And this is so heavily pigmented if you swipe it on, so I prefer to sort of pat it on, because if I swipe it, y'all, it gives powdered donut a little bit. And then I'm going to take my e.l.f. Cream Glide lip liners, which these are actually some good lip liners, y'all. They just don't have a lot of shades to choose from. And it's the darkest shade that they make, which is dark cocoa. And I'm just going to overline a little bit with this. Fortune Cookie from NYX. Right off the bat, I can tell that that primer does make the skin look more hydrated, because About Face doesn't normally look like this. It normally looks a little bit more matte than this, but I like it how it looks both ways. The finishing spray is a setting spray, transfer resistant makeup setting spray, and it's supposed to be up to 24 hours of wear. Feels like water. And it sprays quite aggressively, so you almost need to go like a full arm's length back. It sprays really aggressive. I'm just gonna do soft charcoal from Sephora collection, which is my go-to, and just sort of deepen it a little. See the difference? Just a little deeper. I like the pencil though. I would definitely go darker on the color. So what do y'all think about the look? I'll keep y'all posted on how the wear goes using these two. If you're new here, welcome. I would love for you to come join the family by hitting the subscribe button. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. 'Cause I've been where you are. You're too scared to show me love. 'Cause too fresh with the scars. Well, I don't have the answers.